question is, will Iran strike inside the United States? Out front tonight, Peter King, chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security. Good to talk to you, sir. Appreciate this.
Thank you,
I know that you have been briefed, and obviously Mr. Clapper has briefed you on many of the details, and you've been told there's no specific plot at this time. Are you satisfied with the intelligence that you've been getting?
Erin, I am, because even though there's no specific plot, the intelligence community does believe that an attack could very well happen. Right now, a threat from Iran, a possible attack from Iran, is the greatest threat we face, and every threat stream is being tracked down. So while there's no specific threat, we're assuming, we have to assume that one could occur. That's why the NYPD, and by the way, I agree totally with Mitch Silber, that we have to assume that Hezbollah would be the proxy for Iran and could well carry out the attack. So no, I am convinced CIA, FBI, NSA, DIA, all of them, plus local police like the NYPD, are working 24/7 on this.
And has this changed? I mean, now you're saying that that Iran is the greatest threat for a terror attack in the United States, whether they do it through Hezbollah, proxy, or otherwise. Has that changed? Has the recent rhetoric and conversation raised that threat level or not?
It really has. There's been several things. One is obviously the tremendous tension in the Middle East with Israel and Iran, and the fact that Iran is getting so close to having a weapon, nuclear weapon. Secondly is the fact that back in December, we stopped the plot of the attack upon or the assassination attempt on the Saudi ambassador, with the attempt to blow up Cafe Milano, which would have killed hundreds of Americans. That was really crossing a red line. And all the chatter that's out there, just the general consensus among everyone in the intelligence community is that right now Iran and Hezbollah would be the #1 threat to the United States. Also, unlike Al-Qaeda, which is still a very serious threat, or at least the offshoots of Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah is a state-trained terrorist organization. That is really the major leagues of terrorism. And if Iran launches Hezbollah, then there's a real concern.
And if the United States were to, when you have these conversations with security officials, if say the United States were to intervene or arm the opposition in Syria, Syria being a place that Iran's ally, or Iran has been very involved, does that put America and Americans at home at greater risk of these sorts of attacks, in your view?
Yes, it does. That can't be enough to stop us from doing whatever we feel we have to do. But I would say even the tightening of the sanctions increases the risk. I think obviously if we get engaged with Syria or with Iran, ultimately, and a confrontation with Israel, then yes, that definitely increases the likelihood that Iran and or Hezbollah would strike within the United States. And we're assuming that. We're assuming, which is why we're trying to monitor everyone in this country who has had contacts with Hezbollah in the past, who was associated with Hezbollah. Some are just into fundraising, others are facilitators. We're monitoring them very, very carefully.
Do you think that there could already be an Iranian or Hezbollah sleeper cell in the United States, given that there have been reports, and again suspected, unconfirmed, that Iran could have been involved in those bombing targets in the past few days for Israeli officials overseas?
Erin, we have to assume that they are, and that's certainly what Mitch Silber was making clear in his op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. This is what Iran has done in Argentina years ago. It's certainly what they're now doing overseas in Thailand and India, in Georgia. So no, we have to assume that. Again, we hope not, but we assume they do. And that's why I can tell you there is a tremendous amount of counter-terror activity by all the elements of the U.S. intelligence community right across the board, and also state and local.
Just about the rhetoric, I'm just wondering, some people say, well, look, the rhetoric's overblown. You all keep talking about this. This really, that's part of the problem. I mean, what do you say to those criticisms? That this is more about rhetoric than reality?
No, you take some, again, I'm a Republican saying this. I have no reason to be defending a Democratic administration for political reasons. When you have people like General Clapper and General Petraeus, when you have really across the board in the intelligence community in this administration, all the leaders saying how concerned they are about an attack from Iran, a possible attack from Iran or Hezbollah, when you have the NYPD, which has the best local counterterrorism unit in the entire country, which also works this 24/7, and you see what Iran is doing overseas, we would be negligent in not talking about it, because it's important to alert local governments, local communities, especially if anyone in their community sees any activity or sees anything unusual, to call the police, call the FBI.
All right, well, thank you very much, Representative King. We appreciate it.